how to operate the camera? Yeah. For now. Your Irish is crap on that, isn't it?
I just put it on audio Irish. Let's what it is.
That again.
Just put it on audio and let's what it is.
That's good.
The manual focus is also get on that.
I'll leave it all on auto then. Do you know if I can get that rocker working?
Yeah.
Got it. Get back over there and detangle
Olympic bronze in Coventry in August. Hope Powell's Team GB were knocked out of that competition by Canada. So this is a rivalry that certainly had its twists and turns. A friendly it might be turned to today, competitive it will certainly be. For Canada, at the back, Carmelita Moscato was a really tenacious defender. She had a real battle with Ellen White in that previous meeting. In midfield, Diana Matheson wins cap number 150 just a day after her 29th birthday. And that's a total bettered only by Canada's greatest ever player, Christine Sinclair, has 145 goals in 194 international games. A strong England side today sees captain Casey Stoney win her 109th senior cap. Further forward, it's cap number 125 for Rachel Yankee, levelling with Peter Shilton. She scored the winning goal in that Cyprus Cup final win over Canada last month. Up front, fellow Arsenal player Ellen White scored in every other game at that tournament. Alongside me today, former England captain Faye White. A little piece of history today, Faye, that 125th cap.
Yeah, certainly for Rachel Yankee, she's been in the squad for as long as I can remember as a young 16-year-old, coming back in I think 96, 97. And she's done fantastically well for her country, and today will be a special moment for her. And she's taken on more of a leadership role, certainly within the squad over the last few years, and by all accounts from talking to a few of the girls, had an outstanding game against Canada in the Cyprus Cup final.
And if she can repeat her performance of that final when she scored that cracking volley, then we'll all be happy here today.
Yes, certainly. I know Rachel relishes games against the Canadians. She actually had a bit of a time out in America playing with some of the Canadian players, and so when she's come up against them, she actually relishes it and steps up her game a little bit more. So she knows a few of the girls in the Canadian team as well, so she'll have a bit more of a point to prove today.
Well, both of these nations competing in that final, they both had very different campaigns up until that point. England conceded quite a few goals at the back, but they scored plenty. Canada were very tight defensively, conceding just 2 goals. England conceded 7, by the way, but Canada not able to score as many up front, and ultimately that's what hurt them in that 1-0 defeat against England.
Yeah, it's very uncommon for England to actually concede as many goals, but they actually conceded 4 against Scotland, obviously being that close encounter against the two nations. So today I'm sure they'll be looking for another clean sheet like they managed to do in that final in Cyprus.
Canada coming forward early on here with Sophie Schmidt. She's lost the ball, and here is Rachel Yankee, who can get her first few touches, and the crowd will love to watch her play today. She's got a great engine, she just keeps on going.
Yeah, she's now 33, but she doesn't seem to be losing her pace. So Rihanna Wilkinson on the right back for Canada is going to have to watch out, and she likes to get forward herself as well. So maybe, hopefully, Rachel Yankee can exploit that space. But she'll have to do a lot of tracking back and working hard defensively for her team as well.
The most capped England player, women's player of all time. She's now 5 ahead of the retired Gillian Coulthard. The debut against Scotland almost 16 years ago. Here come England now with Scott. A chance to get the ball in for Aluko. She's won a corner. A good start for England here.
So the Canadians have quite a big presence in the air. So for England, obviously Jill Scott, one of the main targets, Ellen White and also Steph Horton, are good aerial abilities in and around the box.
Ellen White, the number 9 today. Aluko playing out on the right. We saw her there to win that corner. It's Yankee who takes it. Flicked by Horton.
So it's a great delivery by Rachel, just putting it in just on the keeper. With England looking like they were trying to crowd out the keeper there. Just maybe a little bit wary of her ability in the air in crosses and set pieces.
The Canadian goalkeeper today is Erin McLeod, 30-year-old who plays club football with Chicago Red Stars. She was listed as Canada's women's all-time starting 11 goalkeeper just last year. And here come Canada on their first attack. Into the penalty area. Good defending though by Anita Asante, who's charged with that responsibility of breaking up those kind of attacks.
Yeah, Diane Matheson really likes to get forward for Canada. She's got a good engine on her, very attacking thinking in her play, as well as Schmidt, who seems to be lining up quite high in the midfield for Canada as well.
Kyle trying to combine there with Showman. England able to emerge with the ball. Really well switched to the far side that was by Farrah Williams, just slightly overweighted, looking for Horton.
Yeah, that's a strong part of Farah's game. She has that vision to see, being able to switch the play, move it from a crowded area and get it out to the other side of the field. Sometimes she's not scared of making those long-range passes, but she just needs to pick when to do it. But her vision is very good generally.
I must say it's a wonderful turnout today at the New York Stadium in Rotherham, a new stadium that opened just at the start of this season. And it's a lovely day as well. It's started to cloud over slightly, but it was very sunny early on. Not quite Cyprus weather, but it's nice enough for us up here on the gantry.
Yeah, it's only about 10 degrees, which is lovely compared to the weather that we have been having, the freezing conditions. So it's good temperatures for the crowd today.
Well, that was England's last game. Canada played as recently as Thursday night in France. They had a 1-1 draw with the French national team in Nice. So perhaps they might be the sharper of the two sides, and we almost saw that then. It was a nice attempt to thread the ball through. It was Christine Sinclair, who's so often the goal scorer, trying to turn provider that time.
Yeah, it looks like Smith's actually playing out on the left wing for Canada, and also being quite high up with Kyle coming in and supporting the forward play with Sinclair. Sometimes she likes to drop in. She's a strong physical player who can hold the ball up well for Canada, so the midfield runners will be running on to aid for the flick-ons or for the passes there that she tried to put through.
And the free kick given against Kyle here. Well, Kaylin Kyle has a sporting family. Her father was a professional ice hockey player in the United States. She's had a good week. She scored the last-minute equaliser against France, playing her 44th consecutive match for the national side today. Here's Alex Scott, and now Rachel Yankee. She's given the ball away. No threat with the ball going forward, but there was just a sign there of some nice intricate triangle passing from the Canadians.
Yeah, it's a perfect surface for it today as well, and I'm sure England will want to get the ball down. Hopes very much likes the players to keep moving, keep the rotation in midfield, and to get the ball into their feet and build from there.
I'll tell you what, Kaylin Kyle's really started off on fire here. She's relentless in her tackling. She's just given away another foul. She'll be buzzing after that 94th minute equaliser on Thursday.
Yeah, Canada always seem to be able to do that. They keep going to the last minute. In the Olympics, they were actually on the receiving end of that when in that semi-final against America, where they lost 4-3 with the last-minute winner. I think it was from Abby Wambach or Alex Morgan. They both scored on that occasion, but they have a lot of fighting spirit, very physical, work hard for each other. As well as being an emerging talent, and under John Herdman, he's getting them to play really well and build up their play as well.
Now, Ellen White trying to turn, got it at the second attempt. Just lost her balance, I think, around the penalty spot there, and tried to just hook it goalwards and see what happened.
Yeah, Ellen always seems to be able to make a chance out of not a very good opportunity. So she'll always be looking to try and spin, get a shot away. But she slipped there. She slipped over a couple of times. The pitch doesn't look too bad, but she just needs to stay on her feet a little bit if she can.
It was a quarter-final meeting between these two, or rather Team GB and Canada at the Olympics. A 2-0 victory for Canada. Feligno and Sinclair, the goal scorers. That was in front of a crowd of 29,000 in Coventry.
I know that game will be on the minds of these players a lot, because a lot of the girls in the England team play for Team GB, and they're very much distraught and disappointed after that performance. I remember watching it, feeling that we didn't really turn up. We got bullied by Canada, and we weren't allowed to play. The players just didn't be able to produce what I know they can on that day, which is obviously disappointing when you get to the quarterfinals of such a big tournament. But for Canada to go on to win bronze was pretty special for them.
Now Alex Scott driving forward from right back. Good play from Asante there to win the ball and set Scott off. Moved on by the other Scott, Jill Scott, and given away. And now here's Christine Sinclair. Canada's just waiting for their fullback to join the attack, and she does like to get forward the number 7, Rhiann Wilkinson. Just a little late arriving that time.
Yeah, it's a good example. She does like to push forward, but the pass was just a bit too far in front of her, expecting her to do a little bit too much. I don't think she's that quick. But Ellen White saw the danger and she was also covering as well.
It's worth giving Rhiann Wilkinson a mention. 139 caps it is for her now. It's a very experienced Canada side today.
Yeah, they seem to, at young age, get a lot of caps under their belt, and that can only be good. And
a good cross in here towards Kyle, and she was wiped out by Karen Bardsley. And the flag was up on the far side anyway. And that was a threat from Canada.
Yeah, but Karen Bardsley was very alert. She was a quick out to that danger, and Karen won't take any prisoners. She'll come out when she's just made the decision. She'll come out and punch it and take everyone with her, and she certainly did that. So it probably just gives Kyle a little bit of a thought now. She might not challenge as much, but Karen Bardsley's very confident in that situation.
Karen Bardsley, born and raised in California. She's been with the England national team since the under-19s level. And here's Kyle trying to get on the end of this as well. Tidied up by her opposite number, Casey Stoney, the captain. And then Bardsley just gets rid of it.
Yeah, Kyle's just sitting in behind Sinclair up front. She's just in the free of the midfield in front of Matheson and Scott, who just sit as an anchor in front of their Canadian defence, but allows Kyle to push on and just support Sinclair up front as well.
It's been a tenacious start from Kyle. Couple of fouls and closing in on the goalkeeper. She's started to become a bit of a nuisance to England. Now they've given it away again, and here's Diana Matheson. She's got Kyle to her right. Kyle on the ball now. Good closing down by Horton. And England need to get this away. And Asante should complete the clearance. Rachel Yankee on the left now. Not quite on the same wavelength as the number 9. She's got it back here. And I tell you what, Alex Scott is striding forward to try and keep this in play, and she has. Back to Aluka. And England will start to try and build with Sophie Bradley at the back. Forward by Asante, step over. Not quite allowing the ball to run through to Scott.
There's a couple of times now Farah's just given the ball away. She knows what she's trying to do, but either the other players aren't in the positions ready for it. She also conceded possession to allow them to in the last attack, so she just needs to get her foot on the ball and just make sure she gets it to a white shirt.
It's Kyle challenging in the air again. Here's Aluko. She gets the ball back. Really nice link-up play, and she's into the penalty area. There's just nobody there. And actually, Ellen White, who laid the ball off to her, was the player you perhaps see in there usually.
Yeah, if Ellen just is setting up the play, you need another midfielder to recognise that and get into the box, and Rachel Yankee to come in slightly off the left side and be that second centre forward. But that's good into link-in play.
Now, Sinclair could be through on goal. Bardsley coming to tidy up again. Read the play really well again, Karen Bardsley.
Yeah, Sophie Bradley did really well to get her body across Sinclair, but she didn't quite get enough pace on the ball back to Karen Bardsley, but she was off her line very quickly, so tidied it up.
Now Jill Scott trying to turn away. Surrounded by red shirts, she did really well to find Williams, but it's looped over the top of the goal. But England are starting to create crossing opportunities now. as you say, Faye, Ellen White can be such a big threat in the centre.
Yeah, Ellen White works tremendously hard for her team. She'll always keep running, but she's willing to do the closing down as you see her doing now, but also to link up with any Aluko and Rachel. She'll either she can come in, hold it up, and she can also spin in behind because she's got good pace as well. And aerially, she's not afraid to get her head onto things.
Aluko gets it back from Scott, who was further ahead of Aluko this time. And she's looking to go on again. Ellen White almost found it. Really bombing forward on this right side.
And I think this is an area where they might be able to exploit the Canadian team, because number 22, Kyla Sholem, is quite new into the squad. I know her from playing. She's played over here in the WSL last season for Doncaster. And I also played a bit of a time out in Canada in 2007 when I went to Ottawa Fury, and she was on the team as well. But you know, just sometimes being new into the squad, first time in for a little while, so you know, that might be something, a bit nerves in the first 5-10 minutes.
Here come England again. Aluko wasn't able to get on it, but Scott's there behind it. And Aluko now looking to drive one. Worth a go.
Annie won't be afraid to shoot. Sometimes I think she just needs to see what's in front of her, just maybe opportunities to pass someone in that kind of distance, because McLeod's quite an accomplished keeper. It's going to be quite hard to beat her from that kind of distance.
They've managed to get a few decent crosses in without really a clear-cut opening. Perhaps a bit of frustration starting to build. She just thought she'd have a go. Bardsley having to put it out of play this time for a Canada throw. Kyle wanting to take it really quickly. Now here come Canada again. Is that a corner? It is. Good play from Tiffany Cameron getting forward. Only a 5th cap today, Tiffany Cameron. And the likes of Sinclair and Kyle in there again. Buchanan up from the back. Steered away.
You see from that corner, Ellen White's been given the job to mark Sinclair in the box on corners.
Put in by Moscato. Buchanan, or rather Cameron, trying to attack it, coming in off the far side. There's certainly a threat about both teams so far.
Like I said, Canada are really a threat as well. They've got some good headers in the team. Obviously Sinclair being the biggest known attacker, but Tiffany Cameron's kind of started off quite well on the right channel.
Asante, and it breaks here for Aluko. Popping up on the left now. Here's Jill Scott. Asante, nice first touch, but closed down quickly. Horton tries to switch the play. It's a wonderful ball to find Ellen White. White with a pretty decent cross as well. And Erin McLeod was scrambling. She wasn't sure that there was nobody coming in at the back post.
That's a great switch of play by Steph Houghton. She has that, certainly as an ability of her, those long-range passes. And Ellen White was in good space and a good cross, but just a bit too high above Jill Scott's head.
We've seen Alex Scott have plenty of time and space over on this side, and then Ellen White that time certainly does seem an area that England can exploit.
And that's the benefit of playing Ellen and Annie Aluko together. They both know the 9 and the 7 role, central forward and wide forward attacking roles, so they can switch when they need to.
Sinclair's pass just a little too over hit. Canada trying to exploit their right side as well. Well, after that quarter-final meeting between Team GB and Canada, there was that semi-final against the USA for Canada. An incredible match, 4-3 it finished after extra time. A hat-trick for Christine Sinclair in that match. England stopped her scoring in the final of the Cyprus Cup.
Yeah, and obviously that's a big job in itself, but it kind of on that day I remember the game feeling for Sinclair, because she'd actually pulled her team back into the match on several occasions with those goals, and to see her have to lose in such a late equaliser was quite upsetting, I'm certainly for herself and her team.
Moscato's challenge that gives England another corner. Yeah, Christine Sinclair actually put Canada in front 3 times, but USA equalised in the 80th minute and then won it dramatically in the 123rd minute. Rachel Yankee's going to take this corner. Met by Horton. That's catching practice for McLeod, really. But again, it's a possible aerial threat for England, a free header.
Yeah, that time Rachel's delivery was a little bit deeper. They were just around the penalty spot towards the back post, slightly deeper free kick, corner, sorry, and a bit too far out for a header maybe from there, because she wasn't really running onto the ball. It's more trying to adjust to get back to then generate a power herself.
Well, Alex Scott is hobbling away from this challenge. It's a free kick in a dangerous area.
You're right.
Sophie Schmidt stood over it. And again, just over here.
Alex is quite an industrial player. She'll certainly run any knocks off as much as she can, but she has had problems in the past with quite a few serious ankle injuries, but with her attitude and the way she's overcome, she's often played through them and been able to. She's got quite a high pain threshold, but that didn't look too bad.
28 years of age now, the Arsenal fullback, closing in on becoming a member of the 100 club, cap number 96 today. Scott. Now Horton. Forward to White. Good play in the air again from Ellen White. They've moved it here to Yankee. It's bobbling around and Scott's emerged with it. And a really good challenge back. A few good midfield battles taking place today.
Yeah, and Ellen White's done quite well with setting up the play a couple of times when it's been delivered into her, either at her feet or in the air.
Here's Williams. She's fouled that time by Desiree Scott. Speaking of midfield battlers, Desiree Scott, I'm told, nicknamed the Destroyer in the Canadian midfield.
Quite an ambitious pass by Sophie Bradley, looking for any Aluko then. She's not got the right distance on the pass, but sometimes those switching plays, it is a good idea, but just needs to make sure it comes off.
Almost given away, and Carmelina Moscato got away with one there. Forward here by Matheson, and now there's a gap in the England defence. It's Cameron. And a good stop low down by Bardsley. Perhaps Tiffany Cameron could have done better.
Yeah, Steph Horton just got caught out there. Her body position was just not quite right, and it's come inside of her. And she's allowed Tiffany. She's quite quick, Tiffany Cameron. So Steph Horton's going to need to be aware of that. But she just kind of got herself wrong, not quite open up in her body positioning, which allowed that to happen.
Wilkinson. Here is Cameron. Help from Asante this time.
I don't know, Roses.
Sinclair. Good header out by Scott, but it's not really cleared it. And hit on the volley ambitiously by Sophie Schmidt, who was always rising over the top. It looks as though if there is going to be an opening goal here, it's going to come down one of the right wings and probably from across.
Yeah, I mean, there's been no real clear opening yet. I think both teams just, setting themselves out, just getting a feel of the ball. But it has been both, like you said, both right wings that have been a little bit more influential on both teams.
Haluka. England a little sloppy with possession again. Kyle trying to profit on that. And she thought she was fouled. Another raking ball forward for England, and it's one that allows Erin McLeod to come out and claim. Here's Buchanan, just 17 years of age, playing centre-back today with Carmelina Moscato. It's only a 9th cap, Khadijah Buchanan, but she seems to become a little bit of a regular since her debut in January.
Yeah, and she's partnering with Carmelina Moscato, who's got now quite a good experience at centre back, so I'm sure she'll be talking her through. But for such a young player to come through, they obviously are looking to her for the future. And like you say, to get 8 caps under her belt in such short space of time is really positive. And
there's Buchanan challenging for the ball again. England emerging with it. And Scott goes back to the captain. England will take their time in trying to build patiently. Bradley finds Alex Scott. You'll hear the name Scott a lot today. 3 of them on the pitch. And here goes Ellen White. She's just unable to keep the ball in play.
That's a shame. As Alex had the ball at her feet, Ellen was actually screaming for where she wanted it. She'd already decided she was going to peel off down into that channel, and it's just a little bit too heavy.
Buchanan. Here's Moscato. Good pressure from Ellen White. Canada confident in trying to move the ball out from the back. They were determined not to hoof it long there.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times now, looking to play out. They're certainly not afraid to give it to Buchanan. She looks quite comfortable on the ball.
And here they come. More advanced area of the pitch this time and becoming a real threat to England. It's hit rather tamely.
Yeah, and again, that's Rhiannon Wilkinson from right back, getting forward, looking to join in. And on Sinclair's left foot, she doesn't really get that in trouble, doesn't get the shot off and trouble Karen Bardsley.
Really, Tiffany Cameron's effort about 5 minutes ago. That's been the best chance of the game so far. Casey Stoney. Forward via the goalkeeper to Jill Scott, who takes the ball down really well. They can look to try and spread the play to this near side again. Might have been a good ball for Alex Scott there, it just came off the back of one of the other players. Schmidt trying to get Sinclair in, good defending by Alex Scott. Here's Asante. Really cool in possession, facing her own goal. And now Jill Scott.
Yeah, Nita Asante is probably one of the hardest players to get the ball off of. Sometimes she can come out of a tackle where she's surrounded by 2 or 3 players and she still seems to have possession. She's very skillful, very technical player. Sometimes puts your heart in your mouth when you were playing with her, saying, don't be doing that, Nita, around our own penalty box. But she's quite confident in her ability.
she'll be familiar with quite a few of these Canada players from domestic football, I imagine. Spent a couple of years playing in the US before moving to Gothenburg, where she plays her football now. Matheson. Trying to get in down that right side again. I think Corton perhaps a little more alive to the danger now. They've just tightened that area of the pitch up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of their play down their right side with the experienced Wilkinson looking to get forward. I haven't seen Showman on their left back get forward once at the moment. Like I said, just probably trying to find her feet.
Now, Ellen White has nicked the ball away, and she's got Yankee in the centre. She's found Yankee here, and Scott's on the overlap, and here comes Scott trying to drive it, and it almost could have been an own goal. It might still come for Yankee. It's White on the ball. Now Aluko, and safely into the gloves of McLeod. It could have been a whole lot worse for Canada.
Yeah, that's a good attack by England. Ellen White's made it by just nicking it round her player, getting away on the left side. Finds Rachel Yankee really well, but then Scott, as it's come out to her, just doesn't catch hold of her shot. And then Ennie puts more of a tame shot onto the keeper.
Yeah, good defending by Kadisha Buchanan initially, because when the ball came across goal, she was facing her own goal. Scott back to Bardsley. Now Bradley. Here's Casey Stoney. It's an all-Lincoln ladies centre-back partnership for England.
Karen Bardsley's just come back from playing out in Sweden, having a spell in Sweden, coming back to play for Lincoln. So it's good to see her in the WSL. She'll be a strong addition for Lincoln. And like I say, that understanding between keeper and the two centre halves should help them in their league campaign, and certainly for England going forward too.
This is a central three: Lincoln ladies, the goalkeeper, and the two centre backs, and then two Arsenal full-backs.
And it's been widely known that Steph Horton doesn't play left back often for Arsenal, but in Team GB she was asked to do that role, and she did it magnificently. So it's becoming more of a prominent feature for her now. But she can also play centre half and also central midfield, which she did for a lot of the time for Arsenal last season.
It's Horton's clearance up towards White. Had a real goal threat in the Olympics as well. Steph Horton scored in all three group matches, including the winner against Brazil in front of a record crowd at Wembley. Now Scott has so much space on this near side again, if Bradley can find it. By the time the ball went forward, Kyla Showman was back covering. Scott's header. Williams back to Jill Scott. She's muscled off the ball. Here's Cameron, she slips. And that was an opportunity for Canada to break. Williams finding Yankee. Good strong play by Williams this time. And then again by Scott, and Yankee trying to thread the ball through. Scott battling really hard to win it back for England. She's won a free kick.
Yeah, Jill Scott's done really well. She's quite an ungangly player, really. She's quite awkward to play against. Her legs get everywhere, but she's often good at retaining the ball. And there she does well just to win the free kick. She wasn't really going anywhere, so just to draw the foul was important.
Am I right in thinking that she's nicknamed Crouchy?
Yes, she was for a little while. Well, she is still, but I'm not sure she actually likes that. It's because she did the robot as well one time. She's quite a good impression, actually. Yes, Jill's certainly one of the characters within the team. She does keep everyone laughing, and normally at her, but she's really good for the team spirit.
She's around 6 foot tall, She's one of the main threats in there now for England. Yankee's going to take it. Steered away by Cameron. Straight back to Rachel Yankee. Flicked on by Williams. Back by Horton and back by Scott again. Rather, it's Bradley on this near side. It's come all the way back to Rachel Yankees. Stayed back to try and fire the ball in. Wilkinson only getting it partially away and then driven in by Horton. Decent try.
Yes, again, she can do those long passes. She can always also do a great strike on goal. She's good at set free kicks and set pieces. But if there's any chance around from that kind of distance, Steph Horton won't be afraid to hit it. And she's scored some good goals in that way before.
Six international goals in 33 caps prior to today. It's not a bad record for a defender.
It's only the last year really where she started to become main starter for the team now. Obviously Hope's asked her to fill out that left side role. We have players like Rachel Unit who have been doing it for years, but she picked up quite a long-term injury for a little while. She's in the squad today, but she's...
Now Aluko looking to attack, but Canada get players back to cover.
They're saying Rachel's in the squad, but she's not actually dressed because I think she's got a slight calf strain, so I think they're taking a precaution on her. As she rightly pointed out to me, they play Birmingham play Arsenal on Tuesday in the FA Cup quarter-final, so it's quite a big game for both teams. So I'm sure their club managers will be looking on at this game, hoping their players aren't playing too many because it's only a day's rest.
We may see a few changes at half-time. About 10 minutes to go until the break, and still waiting for the breakthrough. Moscato turning away from Ellen White. Buchanan. Won back here by Aluku and given away. Here's Matheson. That 150th appearance for the Canadian national team.
Canada looking confident in just passing out of trouble. They're not being forced to play it long. Probably be doing that more than England at the moment. They've quite a few times looked to just play it in to the strikers up to Ellen.
Matheson taking her time again. Finds Sinclair. Kyle doing well. Schmidt, has she just kept the ball in play? She hasn't.
Diane Matheson looks really composed on the ball, doesn't she? She's often looking just to drop off into that anchoring midfielder role just to get it off her two centre halves, and sometimes been given a bit too much time just to turn and decide what she wants to do with it. So that might be a point for Hope to look for Jill Scott or for Farah to certainly try and cut that out.
As we've said, they have scored quite a few late goals recently. They're a team that do look to be really patient, taking their time. Now you can get in touch with us on Facebook. The page is www.facebook.com/England Women. Here's Asante, and now Scott. Back to Asante again. Bradley. Alex Scott again, and now Farrell Williams, who's dropped back just to try and help England move the ball forward.
Yeah, Farrell Williams is wearing the 10 today, being slightly advanced in midfield, just behind Ellen White, but she does like to sit in that deeper role. She likes to always be on the ball. She sometimes gets frustrated, so you'll see them rotate quite a few times, because Jill Scott's quite able to get on forward as well.
Now plenty of space over on this side for Horton. Canada closing down that side now, and Aluku pressed back but able to turn, and I think she felt that she perhaps was fouled, or maybe she was looking for a corner. Either way, it's a Canada goal kick.
Yeah, I think she thought it just that Buchanan just got the tackle in, so I think she wanted a corner for that, but couldn't quite see from up here if she got quite a nick or not.
Here's Sinclair. Now Buchanan. Under pressure, goes all the way back to McLeod. Now Williams trying to scrap and win the ball, and she has done. And she's been brought down, and it's an England free kick. Really gritty play from Farrell Williams again.
Yeah, she showed good strength, just about to pull the trigger to be able to pass it, but Desiree Scott's a little bit late on the challenge and given the foul away.
Well, even when England are snapping away at their heels, Canada still insist on playing the ball out from the back. And this time it's resulted in an England free kick. And it's going to be that left foot of Rachel Yankee again. Close to the goalkeeper. She had to watch it all the way.
I think Rachel's wanted to mark her quite important day with the goal. Quite a long way out to try and test that one, but maybe she saw the keeper just edging, thinking that she was going to cross it, so she thought she'd fancy her chances.
19 goals so far for Rachel Yankee in her record 125 caps. Forward by Kyle. Schmidt lost the ball in the air for a second. Away by Bradley, only as far as Matheson. The play switched via Desiree Scott. Forward by Wilkinson. Matheson in space again. Here's Kyle. Wilkinson finding Cameron, and she's really well guarded by Horton. Here's Sinclair. Always a danger in the penalty area. England close to her that time. Now Moscato. Pace of the game just slowing a little bit towards the half-time break.
Yeah, both teams, again, good passages of play, but without really penetrating or getting in behind the defences. So certainly England's defence has been quite steady and quite well organised at the moment.
Now Kyle squeezed it through to Sinclair here, claims for a penalty. And the referee shakes her head. It did travel over a very short distance.
From up here it did look like it hit her hand. May be interesting to see the replay, but I don't know whether she brought her hand to it, but it just seemed that certainly Sinclair thought it was a handball.
The referee today, John G. Gall from Hungary, thinking that was not an intentional handball. Sherman's throw. One in the air by White. And Bradley Casey Stoney rather, just smashed that against Sinclair.
There's one thing we haven't really seen yet is that Sinclair, when she does get hold of the ball, with power and her speed that she runs with the ball, is quite frightening and very hard to defend against. So it's certainly one thing you don't want to allow to happen.
That was a decent ball searching across for Tiffany Cameron on the far side. Arrowed right to her, almost found its way to the right-sided Canadian player. I suppose it's a credit to England that they have limited the amount of time Sinclair's had on the ball.
Yeah, and it's important that I know that Casey Stoney and Sophie Bradley were pleased that they stopped her from scoring. Such a prolific striker, to stop her from scoring in the Cyprus Cup final was, as a defender, you always want to come off the pitch without any goals being against you.
Counter-attacks on here for England. Alex Scott coming forward. Ellen White out to this side. There's 4 white shirts in the centre. White's cross too close to the goalkeeper. A missed opportunity perhaps for England coming up to the final minute of the first half.
Yeah, it was better there. We had actually 3 players making the run into the box. Jill Scott, Enia Luco, and I think it was Steph Holton as well, got up there, so we kind of needed a better ball just to pick one of them out.
A header back from Asante just to calm things down for England. Stoney finding Asante. Forward from Bradley to Aluko. And here's Asante again. Ellen White, who's drifting out to this near side. Gets a second chance. Moved on by Asante. Cameron struggling to get there, but does. Now, it's Jill Scott who's got forward. And the ball stayed in play.
There's a good example of Jill's willingness to run, get forward. She's a little bit, I thought she was going to get there, but she didn't quite have enough legs in her to catch the ball up and keep it in play and actually build an attack.
We're into added time at the end of the first half. And there is the half-time whistle here at the New York Stadium. Both sides have posed a threat. The game did get a little more quiet the longer the half went on. The best chance perhaps, Tiffany Cameron, the Canadian number 3, bursting forward and going almost clean through on Karen Bardsley, but a relatively tame effort stopped low down to Bardsley's right-hand side. England have looked threatening in the centre with the number 9, Ellen White, but at half-time it's England 0, Canada 0.
And if you'd like to get a little closer to today's action, you can join the conversation on Twitter by tweeting using the hashtag Lionesses, or tweeting your thoughts and shout-outs to @FAWSL, and we will bring you closer to the game. So get involved now and tweet the hashtag Lionesses. Don't forget as well, the FA Women's Final is taking place.
I think we have to talk about some highlights of the then we're going to come back to me and explain what had to do with the original Facebook thing that nobody ever did.
So a good first half, but still no goals here, and England's main chances came through their play down the right side with the full-back Alex Scott getting forward, an example of that there. They haven't really had too many clear-cut chances so far.
No, but like you said, it was more on set pieces from the corners and crosses from down from this right-hand side, which we were looking to, well, they've looked to exploit the full-back on a number of occasions, but Alex Scott will look to get forward quite a lot. She's got a very good engine on her to allow her to do that. England's best chance probably was that, where play finally worked out to Alex, but she didn't quite get a shot off. She kind of dragged it a little bit rather than powering onto getting a shot on target.
Was she going for the far post then?
I think so, because there wasn't many other England players in the box, but she just didn't catch it right. But it's good that England players are following up and still trying to keep the pressure on Annie. Aluka's finally got a shot away, but Jill Scott's been working hard in midfield to just break up their play. Looks to try and run forward into the channels a couple of times to, just to run sometimes the Canadian defenders off to allow space for someone else. She's very good at that. But yeah, I think we need to see Farrah Williams on the ball a little bit more in midfield. Certainly in that forward role, just behind Ellen White, because she's looking to drop quite a lot. She wants to get on the ball. She's a player that likes to have a lot of possession and to make things happen deeper in the field. So the 10 role where she just plays in off the forward is sometimes it's hard work for her, because she has to be more disciplined in her play to actually stay there and play for the team in that position. But I'm sure in the second half, Hope will look to make some changes, because it's a friendly, first of two leading into the Euros, so it's an option now for her to use some of those players.
Okay, we're going to see highlights now of the final of the Cyprus Cup, in which England beat Canada by 1-0 just last month. So this was about a month ago, a meeting between two very similar squads, and England really impressive in the final.
Yeah, and again, after the game, speaking to some of the girls, they were disappointed not to win by more goals. They feel that it could have been 2 or 3, because they had more chances to actually put the game to bed, but they didn't. So, and again, by the sounds of it, Rachel Yankee had a great performance, probably one of her best that some of her teammates have said had seen her play in an England shirt. So that's important for big games. I know it's a friendly tournament and the cameras weren't there watching, but for Rachel Yankee, I'm sure her experience, and she scores a pretty decent goal as well. We haven't seen it yet, but it's a spectacular goal to win it.
And that was a chance for Yankee just then. Yankee and Ellen White both had a few chances. This was the one of just a couple of chances really for Canada that stands out, but a really good challenge from Jill Scott to win the ball.
Yeah, she's a little bit concerned with the way she said, I've got the ball, ref, maybe worried to give her a penalty.
Good hold-up play by Ellen White. The shot just dragged wide by Annie Aluka.
And Ellen White had a good tournament as well in scoring all of the games apart from the final, so that will do her confidence a lot of good as well.
Aluka going through again. It just shows how many chances England created. We've not really seen, apart from that one from Alex Scott, we've not really seen too much of that in this game so far that we're watching here.
No, and I think games traditionally against Canada have always been hard-fought, close encounters. It's not normally a 3-3 or a 4-3 kind of game. So it's normally the 1 or 2 chances that you get against such good teams. We're now equally ranked 7th with them. After winning against Canada in this competition, we actually just went above them in the rankings.
And that's an example of Christine Sinclair running with the ball, something England have really done well to limit so far.
Yeah, I think it's not only the 2 centre-backs marshalling her well, but also with the balls not allowing them to get from midfield into her feet, which is important. It's not always just the player itself, it's the build-up play and the passes that will go into that player, because she's a clever player. She's got a lot of experience where she'll make good movement, good runs, and to make it hard for the defenders to pick her up, she likes to drop in deep. But here you see Jordan Nobbs. She is a young player in the squad who has come on and done really well, and scored on her debut when she scored against Italy, a pretty thunderous strike from about 25 yards. So, but I think that was the most important thing in this tournament. In the past, Hope's always used it to allow the fringe players or the younger players more chances to actually play and get experience, and the fact that they've gone and won it with all players playing and getting good game time is really important. It shows the depth of the squad, which is really positive going forward. And in 2009 the team won it leading into the Euros that year as well, and they got to the final, so it's quite a good omen. Hopefully they can do again this summer.
Here's the goal for Rachel Yankee. A stunning volley.
Yeah, it was great though. It was on her favourite left foot, and for her to take that strike, I think she's pretty pleased with that one.
It took until the 70th minute. Maybe we'll have a bit more late drama here today.
Yeah, no, I think both teams are capable of keeping the pressure on and building within their game, to ensure that, you know, you can't really switch off for a moment, because opportunities like that will come for both teams.
And that was really the closest that Canada came to equalising or finding the back of the net themselves. And England had a few more chances in the final 15 minutes.
Yeah, you see Rachel Williams there, just obviously been brought on. Again, that's a good option. She's a different type of player, very powerful, strong in her play.
Sinclair, or rather, it wasn't Sinclair, was it? Sinclair almost getting on the end of it, round about the penalty spot. She was hovering there. That's the danger, is that when you've got Christine Sinclair in your side, then a goal can come from nowhere. This was really good play from England. Jordan Nobbs, who I imagine we'll see in the second half.
Yeah, I would have thought that Hope will look to put on some of the younger players to give them experience again, because you never know in a tournament when you might need someone to come off the bench and change the game. So, but that's it's good that you see here as well Dunya Susie or Jess Clark as well on the pitch.
There was some midfield battles going on in that final. We've seen plenty of hard tackling here today as well, considering it is a friendly.
Yeah, you've seen it in that game and today between Desiree Scott and Farrah Williams. They were just both taking their little kick out of each other in that game as well.
Nobbs driving forward again. It seemed like a very open second half. Hopefully we'll have something similar at the New York Stadium.
Generally, from my experience when we've played, the first half's always a lot more cagey, a lot more building into the game, and the second half of women's games always do open up, because players and teams, you know, start to think, right, we've got to make something happen now, and exploit and the spaces that when you're starting to get tired that players leave. And it's often the concentration levels at international which need to be spot on. But and then when you bring on subs, it injects that extra bit of speed and strength and fitness back into the game. And you can see there the players quite happy that they won.
Yes, the one goal enough to beat Canada on that day. And one goal might be enough here in the second half. It's goalless at the break between England and Canada here at the New York Stadium in Rotherham. Nil-nil as we get ready to start the second half here between England and Canada. England matches of late have had plenty of goals in them. We've just seen the highlights of the Cyprus Cup final, just 1-0, but before that a 3-1 victory over New Zealand, a 4-4 draw with Scotland and a 4-2 win over Italy. So I imagine that there could be a goal or two in the second half here. 2-0 against Switzerland. So 4 games, and despite losing in the final, just 2 goals conceded. England currently going through qualifying for the Euro 2013 tournament in Sweden. They've gone through qualifying, I should say, unbeaten. And the tournament coming up in July. They've been drawn in Group C along with Spain, France and Russia. We have been getting in touch with us on Facebook and also on Twitter using the hashtag Lionesses. Claire Hill has been in touch to say no major scares, Ellen looking good up front and Annie consistent as always. And Kurt Burton saying good game so far, no major worries for the team, they're playing very well. Do continue to get in touch with us through www.facebook.com/England Women and on Twitter using that hashtag Lionesses. Lots of people saying congratulations to Rachel Yankey, 125 caps. Just how big an achievement is that, Faye?
It's massive to have be able to have that many under your belt. Is a credit to her, really, in the way that she's been able to stay free from injury and fitness. You know, to keep fit every year, which she does do. She's been fortunate not to have major injuries in her career, but as she's getting older, she's still maintaining her speed and also looks just as fit as ever. So I'm sure she'll be able to get a few more years and push that record on higher.
Well, no signs that either manager was going to ring the changes at half-time. We thought that might be the case, but it's not happened.
No, I think that Hope would have certainly wanted her team just to come out. She'd probably give it another 10 minutes or so before thinking about making a change, just to see if the team that she's put out can make that breakthrough and actually get on the end of some of the chances and some of the build-up play that they've managed to do in the first half.
England just advancing steadily down the line. Horton's throw. Gets it back from Williams. Early cross. Just drifting away from Aluko.
Again, Canada looking very confident just to play out and build from the back.
And here's Kyle, a bit more adventurous from Canada there. Now Christine Sinclair to Tiffany Cameron, just trying to loft it back into the danger zone. And now she's lost it, the goalkeeper. And Horton's got to help her out. No foul called for the challenge on Karen Bardsley.
No, she claimed it, she got it, and she's come out, shouted clearly that she wants it, but that she's had to do it through bodies, and I think she's actually bounced into the Canadian player and she's spilled it, which just fortunately the England defence was alive and could get it away.
Wilkinson with the throw, flicked by Matheson and cleared away by Scott. Now here comes Alex Scott. Ball looking for Ellen White, good covering from Moscato. Kadisha Buchanan, who at the age of 17 has been very calm in passing the ball out from the back. She's gone long that time. Showing a great deal of composure though for a teenager. Here's Williams. That's a good cross just over the top of Ellen White's. Williams gets a second chance. Now Horton. Horton trying to maze her way through.
That's good play by Farah. She's actually got into the space, but just delayed her across just to allow the England players to catch up with her and to actually fill the box.
England trying to turn up the ante. Good play from Schmidt. She gets it back now. Sinclair with the ball at her feet. Then Kyle finds Cameron. Good covering from Yankee, but she's given the ball away again. And here's Kyle. That's a really sturdy challenge from Sophie Bradley.
Yeah, Sophie's always quick to see the danger, and will often lay her body on the line to make sure she puts in the last-ditch tackle. But she does well to spot the danger and just come across to cover it and to win the challenge, more importantly, certainly as it's in the box.
It had to be perfectly timed. There's still plenty of danger for England.
Yeah, it's often at this time when you come out from half-time, you're a little bit not quite switched on and you can give chances away. So we need to make sure they can clear the lines in this corner.
Schmidt's corner. It's hung up there and difficult for Bardsley again. And again, England scramble it away.
Yeah, and again, in the first half I mentioned that it looked like Ellen White had been given the role to try and block Sinclair's run into the box, because England often defend corners by zonal marking with their three major headers on the edge of the 6-yard box, but Ellen White is a blocker in that instance. She comes back and she done well, but she just got caught under the ball, and Sinclair's managed to get the header.
The flick by Sinclair, but nobody on the end of it.
I think that Diana Mathen thought that she'd run offside, so she didn't even contest that ball.
England celebrating 20 years of being governed by the FA. Qualified for the World Cup on 3 occasions and reached the quarter-final each time, and reached the final of the last Euros in 2009, as the lady stood next to me will be able to attest to. It was a final loss to Germany.
Yeah, that tournament was a bit of a crazy one, because we actually started off by drawing to Italy and Casey Stoney getting sent off in the first game. Then we were in the second game 2-0 down against Russia within 20 minutes and thought that we'd be going home, but we managed to win that one 3-2 with a spectacular goal by Kelly Smith, almost from the halfway line on a volley. And then we played Sweden, where we got the draw, first time drawing with them in a long time, many years, with a 1-1 draw, which actually gave us a clearer route into the quarters, and where we saw Finland the hosts, and then it was Holland in the semis, and then Germany, our arch rivals and European champions 5 times over, be going for their 6th this year. This time again with a very different team, a lot of youngsters being blooded in, and a lot of their older, more prolific and more widely known players such as Brigitte Prince and Gareth Frakers, players like that, actually retiring.
You captained England very close. Can they go one step further at the next Euros?
I certainly think they have the ability and quality. It's just often you need a bit of fortune, and your squad and your main players staying fit during the competition and leading into it. And now with the strength in depth and some of the younger talent that we've got coming through, I certainly do think we're in a stronger position for this tournament. But just like we're improving, so are other nations, and Sweden as hosts will, I'm sure, have a good shout. Germany, as always.
Now Sinclair, or Schmidt rather, trying to turn. Sinclair was in the centre. It was really, in the end, neither a shot nor a cross. A half opening for Canada.
Yeah, and again, the first half, it was the first part of this second half, is Canada looked to have pressed a little bit higher, and when they get the ball, looking to run a little bit more at the defence, but no real chances yet.
England's first game of the Euros, by the way, is the 12th of July against Spain.
And it's good that it's been announced already that BBC will be covering those games on BBC 3 and BBC 2, as well as online as well, and leading into it, a lot more coverage for the WSL with a highlight show as well, and again more coverage online, so people can find out about players and keep a track of them leading from their WSL season into the Euros.
England scored a ton of goals in qualifying. There was a 6-0 victory over Croatia, a 4-0 victory over Slovenia, 3-0 against Croatia in the home game, and a victory over Holland as well.
Here in that group, it was Holland as the main rivals, the stronger team out of that group. But it was, thankfully, we got a draw. I think it was away and then a win at home. So to go unbeaten is another good confidence builder. But it's one thing that we would be expecting now from a team as strong as we are now.
It's an England free kick here. And a chance to get the ball into the box again. They've got the height of White and Scott, and it's been taken short. It's Scott's cross into the near post to Asante, and she just lets it run and settles for a corner.
So Rachel's delivery in the first half was generally quite good on the crosses. They have a few different variations that they like to work, but it looks like they're going to crowd out the keeper on this occasion again, with Jill Scott, Steph Horton and Sophie Bradley, the big headers of the team, right under that crossbar and causing the goalkeeper some problems. But just needs a good delivery.
This is a group of players stood almost right under the crossbar. It's headed out for another corner. A change of plan for England.
Yeah, looking at the right foot of Eni Aluko just to do an outswinger now to bring it away from the keeper.
And by Aluko. Comes out here. The crowd wanting a shot. The first touch, and that wasn't possible.
Yeah, the Canadian defender's actually done well to close her down.
Now good pullback. It was pulled back by Rachel Yankee, and Anita Asante arriving just didn't get over the top of the ball.
Yeah, Anita's very accomplished with both feet, both right and left, but if she was going to try and shoot, I'm sure she'd prefer that to come to her right foot. She doesn't really get over it and look confident in her shot. And again, Canada looking to play out. They look very comfortable to do so, even when there is pressure high up on the centre halves. Something they've done more of than England today.
Buchanan calm initially that time, and then tried to go long down the line. White's layoff. Matheson, now Kyle. Flicked on by Scott, and she's got the ball back here. Really accomplished play from Scott in the midfield to find the space over on the far side for Alex Scott. And White trying to get Scott back in. And Luku coming across to try and help out. Really good play from Jill Scott in the midfield there.
Yeah, she's done well to create a space and to actually switch the ball out, but I think she'll be disappointed with that layoff. She'll certainly demand that her passing's a lot more slicker and get to the players' feet.
Stoney. Now Horton. Back to the captain. Williams shifting the play, spotting the forward run of Scott again. There's a slip from the Canada fullback, and here comes Scott. And Buchanan making a vital intervention. Williams will strike it. Was always going wide, but Buchanan was really the last line of defence in there for Canada.
That's probably England's best attack, purely because it started from Sophie Bradley playing the ball into Farrah Williams, who just dropped deeper, who spots the space out for Alex Scott to get on a bite down the wing. A great ball into her feet, but you just need the final pass. The players are getting in advance, getting in support of Alex Scott, but she just, Buchanan's timed a tackle or spotted the danger and cleared it. England, it seemed, winning the aerial battle and the physical battle in midfield, but a free kick's gone against them. And again, that's Buchanan. She looks very, like I say, for a 17-year-old, for a 9th cap, she looks not afraid, not overawed at all, and quite strong in her challenges. Ellen's very physical. She's a slight girl, but very physical, and she's done well to keep her quiet in this match so far.
Now we're going to have a change here for England. The goalkeeper, Karen Bardsley, to make way. And an outfield change as well. So Rachel Brown comes on in goal. And also one for England, Jordan Nobbs for Anita Asante. So Jordan Nobbs winning just her 4th cap. And for someone who's only 20, she's certainly had a storied international career so far. She captained the under-17s at the 2008 World Cup in New Zealand, and then scored in the final of the under-19s Euros the following summer. She scored on her senior debut as well, just 7 minutes in. Here's Aluko, and here she is again, striking one. That's what she can do.
Yeah, that's Jordan all over. She's certainly not afraid, even though she's young. She's not afraid to take strikes like that, but she will inject a lot of energy and pace and work rate into that midfield, and enthusiasm. She's very good at reading the game, and she's not afraid to tell senior players or other players what she'll see, and that she wants the ball. She'll often demand it, which is really a positive thing for a young player. When she's come through, she was Arsenal's player of the season last year, and she really deserved it, because she was asked to play in a number of different positions and it didn't faze her. She just got on with the job, and her preferred position is midfield. But I'm sure she'll be certainly a very good addition to this squad, and even if she could arguably, try and fight for a starting position in the future.
Her debut goal came last month against Italy in that 4-2 win in the Cyprus Cup, and England really buoyed by that change, coming forward again. This time their attacking play halted by Desiree Scott.
Just like Rachel Yankee there, to try and take the full back on. We've not really seen our wide players actually get the ball one-on-one and run at the Canadian full-backs.
The free kick's gone Canada's way here. A foul by one number 3 on another. They've taken it quickly, and they're looking to catch England out. It's Wilkinson's cross. And the first touch for the New England goalkeeper had to be an assured one.
Yeah, they just got 2-on-1 on the free kick. Diane Matheson spotted that quite quickly. Rhiannon Wilkinson just dropping off of Rachel Yankee's shoulder, and had that space to pick out a cross.
Plenty of competition for England in goal, with Rachel Brown winning her 80th cap today. Karen Bardsley a little less experienced, but starting games recently.
Yeah, Karen Bardsley's been a great addition to the squad over the last couple of years. Rachel's done magnificently for her country for so many years as a young 16-year-old coming into the squad, but Karen Bardsley just gives that extra height and agility. She's a very good shot stopper, and certainly accomplished at coming at crosses. But Rachel's she's getting towards the end of her twilight years of her career, should I say? But certainly a great character to have around the squad, and wheels everyone on. Good communicator, as goalkeepers need to be, but certainly off the field she's good for the team as well.
Rachel Brown played in that Euro 2009 final defeat to Germany, then lost the number 1 jersey for the 2011 Euros to Karen Bardsley. Wilkinson's throw. Here's Kyle. Wilkinson to Moscato. Moscato with a long searching ball. Canada trying to get it forward quicker now. Schmidt just bursting through a couple of challenges. You certainly will see, I think, a lot more mobility in midfield
with Jill Scott and Jordan Nobbs now in those two holding roles. Not saying obviously Anita, she's more of a holding, doesn't really look to get forward as much as what Jordan Nobbs will. She likes to sit and just be that person, kind of that McElhaney role really in front of the defenders, and a bit with her passing ability. Needs very good at setting up the play, but Jordan will like to do that, but often want to get on the end of crosses and through balls as well.
Into the final half an hour and still no goals here. England are missing their record goal scorer Kelly Smith, out injured, but they're on the attack now, and the flag stayed down, and it's really good play, but it's come out to Ellen White, who misses the second opportunity, but the initial chance was the first one. That was the best, but thwarted by Erin McLeod, and she's hurt. And what brave goalkeeping.
Yeah, that's great play by England, great link-up play on the edge of the box, and Farrell Williams has found herself in space, acres of space, able to turn, but McLeod's done brilliantly to deny her, because that should have been a certain goal. If anything, you might have just want Farrell, she looked for more power just to try and get it maybe under the keeper, but she's done well to block it. Maybe a nice Farrell's able to just, do the not obvious thing and just dink it over her.
Well, it's meant to be a friendly. She certainly wasn't scared of getting hurt.
You see in the replay, as Farrell's turned, she's not quite got it out in front of her, and she kind of has to come back on herself a little bit, so it allows the keeper that extra time just to get out.
There is a real rivalry developing between England and Canada now, after the Olympics and the Cyprus Cup.
Yeah, both sets of teams here will want to, use this as a chance to build on their performance. For England, leading into the Euros, like I said, it's one of two friendlies. They're also going to play Japan on the 26th of June up at Burton. And Canada are just heading into their World Cup qualifiers. They're actually hosting the Women's World Cup in 2015. So, it's an important period, a couple of years for them to grow, and because they're going to have the spotlight on them as a nation in a couple of years.
England trying to lift the crowd and get on the attack a little bit more. Here's White. She just shepherds the ball out for an England throw.
It's certainly been more encouraging in the second half. A few more chances, England probing, and it's certainly in Canada's final third a lot more than Canada are in England. So they just need to make one of the chances in this pressure just pay off with a little bit more quality on the final pass through or shot.
It is a meeting of two in-form sides. That defeat to England in the Cyprus Cup final, Canada's only defeat in their last 6 games. England actually are unbeaten in 9 now, winning 7 of them.
Yeah, and Canada have played recently against France, where they drew 1-1 on the 4th of April. So again, they had a late winner by Carl, scored in the 94th minute, I think it was, against France, who are a strong nation in themselves, who again in the World Cup in 2011 and in the Olympics last summer got to the semis, and in Canada actually beat them in the bronze match with a 1-0 win, Diana Matheson scoring the winner. So they're good performances by Canada as well to be equal and beating teams like that themselves.
Well, we're not talking about the Olympics because that was Team GB. It's 9 unbeaten for England. They've scored 28 goals in those 9 games. That's more than 3 a game. So apart from their leading goal scorer Kelly Smith, what are they missing here today at the moment?
Yeah, it's just, I think we've had good possession. It's just the final ball, or just seeing that final pass, it's just been a little bit lacking. And they're playing up against what is Canada, who are a very resolute and strong team. They don't, like you said earlier, they don't concede many goals. So it is going to be something creative or something quite special to kind of break down this team. John Herdman's got them playing, really well, and as a team, since he's come in, they really like his way of playing and his management style. So it's given them a lot of confidence, and it certainly showed in the Olympics, because in the World Cup they didn't win a game to get out of their group. So it was a big turnaround since when he's been in charge.
Schmidt just lofting one in there towards Kyle. Now there's plenty of space for Scott, who's got the freedom of her own half to burst forward. Stoney. And now Scott's continued to go on. Moscato has to stay calm and does.
You can see the energy there of Jordan Nobbs being able to just burst through and support that play as well, wanting to get forward.
And Nobbs thought she'd helped England win a corner, and so did the crowd. A goal kick given. Well, Alex Scott just doesn't stop going at that right flank, does she?
No, she's got a great engine. She's a willing runner for the team.
So maybe a goal-scoring threat for England now, because on comes Tony Duggan, 21-year-old forward, 2 goals in 5 senior appearances before today, 20 goals in 38 youth internationals, including one in the Euro Under-19s final, win over Sweden in 2009. And a substitution for Canada as well. On comes Emily Zura. It looks as though the Canadians might be getting ready to make another change as well. Adriana Leon is stood and ready to come on the sideline.
Yeah, for England it looks like just a straight swap with Tony Duggan going out onto the right flank, taking where Ania Luco has been playing for the first half. So Tony Duggan also plays more so this season, coming up, and last season for Everton in the central forward role. So she'll be able to again link up with Ellen, and she often looks to come off that flank and try and be that second centre forward a lot more than probably what Rachel Yankee does on the left. So she's got an eye for goal, and she's a young, exuberant young player wanting to come on and make a good impression. So hopefully she'll do well.
Yes, the youngsters have a chance to shine in the final 20 minutes here. And a Canadian youngster making her way onto the field. It is Adriana Leon, 20-year-old forward herself, and winning her 9th cap today. Matheson. Now Moscato. Zura. Buchanan. Looks as though Buchanan's come out to right back now. Zura going into the centre. Matheson. A really good challenge from Jill Scott. England almost getting themselves in trouble, and a really accomplished touch to set them on their way. Here's Nobbs. And it came back to Farrah Williams. She wasn't expecting it, but England still on the attack here. And there's 2 in the centre. It's Yankee into Duggan.
Yeah,
Faye, does Tony Duggan provide a different kind of a threat in terms of her finishing?
Yeah, well, she's quite an accomplished finisher for such a young player. Likes to get her shots off. Well, has scored some spectacular goals in the WSL from long range distance, just like Jordan. As a young player, not afraid to come on and do that kind of thing. So, and like I say, she can play out on the flank, out wide, or she can play down the central. But she likes to get hold of the ball and run at players as well, as does Eni. But just as a young player coming through, it's just good for her to get time on the pitch and you know, that little bit of confidence, because you need those caps under your belt.
Horton's got to win this race, and she does enough in the end.
I think you can see nowadays the difference when the young players come on. They're not overawed by the occasion or the experience. Yes, they're nervous because it's a big deal for them, but you know, they've played in European Championships at under 19s, under 17s, under 15s, and it's a great learning curve. But they're so used to the whole environment and the way that we train leading into the games and the systems that England play. So, you know, they're really not overawed by the whole experience, as would someone like myself when I was a 16-year-old coming straight into the seniors. So it's good to see that they have that confidence.
Kyle just going back. Canada will start to try and build from the back again. Moscato.
It's great pressure from Ellen. She just needs the reinforcements to allow her to keep that pressure on, to make it hard for Canada to play out. But they have done well, again looking quite composed in doing that. And now Jill Scott picks up the ball.
Carmelina Moscato is nicknamed Calm, apparently. She was very calm there.
Yeah, she's a very solid player. I remember playing with her again in 2007 when I went to Ottawa Fury. She was playing midfield at that time, but she's come in over the last 3-4 years for Canada's senior team and made that centre-back position her own, and she's very solid and residue, but quite comfortable on the ball as well.
Now Lauren Sesselman is getting ready to come on for Canada. So it's Showman who's off, and Sesselman on, and she's got some defending potentially to do straight away.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Steph Horton have a strike from here, because she can, like I said earlier, she's quite a good set-piece specialist for a young player. She scored a superb goal for Team GB in the Olympics.
It is Horton. It's a good try, but the goalkeeper, Erin McLeod, right behind it.
But she often makes the goalkeeper work on those type of situations, so it's a good quality to have that power and that pace in her striking ability. But a little bit too easy for the keeper on that occasion.
Now really good play to find Williams, and it's Nobbs who is arriving with plenty of space and at the right time, but she just scuffed the finish.
Yeah, again, good play, link-up play between Tony Duggan, Farrah Williams, and then Jordan arriving, but just a little bit of rush of blood, to the head on that occasion, without really testing the keeper. She can do a lot better than that.
You were telling me before the game, Faye, that she does like to shoot from range, and perhaps she was a little bit shy in doing that.
Yeah,
coming into the senior squad, but a bit of encouragement, and she scored that stunning goal on her debut. And here come England again. That's a good try. Onto the top of the crossbar. McLeod didn't get a touch, but that was very close indeed for Tony Duggan, and that's what she's brought to the game.
Yeah, no, it said she's not afraid to do that either, and that's with her left foot. She can use both feet, but like I said, she's scored some fantastic goals in the WSL, and often goals like that, kind of the unexpected. Sometimes the keeper doesn't expect you to shoot in those kind of angles, but she certainly does. Comes off for her, but it certainly was testing McLeod.
Sinclair. That's through to Rachel Brown.
That's good by Alex Scott there. She was just alert to the danger. She has been, you've seen her down that right flank getting forward a lot, but she often is there to cover in the right position when needed as well, just as Canada broke.
Zora pressed very closely by White. Williams finding Yankee. Yankee looking for Duggan again. Good intervention by Buchanan. Horton looking to find her opposite fullback Scott.
Again, England found a lot of space down on that right flank. Alex Scott's been in the game a lot. You just need... Oh. Yeah, I think the crowd for one moment thought the lineswoman wasn't going to give the corner, but she did.
England have just over 10 minutes to try and find a winning goal. If they do get it, it's going to come later than in the Cyprus Cup final. And it's going to be Rachel Yankee on her 125th England appearance to take the corner. Deeper this time towards Horton, well won in the air by Kyle. And Canada can bring the ball away with Leon. And she gets it back from Matheson. Well, in terms of a goal-scoring threat, we've really not seen much of Christine Sinclair at all today.
No, I think she's been very quiet. Credit to England's centre-halves for keeping her quiet, but also the service to her. She's had to do a lot of running without really getting the ball to her feet and being able to make that impact as she would normally.
6 goals in 6 games for her at the Olympics to lead the side to the bronze medal. She led the scoring charts in the Olympics women's tournament, and 2 goals in 3 in the Cyprus Cup. The danger, I suppose, is in the final 10 minutes if England take their eyes off her and think that she's been quiet and forget about her, because the mark of a good striker so often is they pop up with a goal out of nowhere.
Yeah, often they only need one chance and they'll score it because of their quality and they're so precise. But I think England are controlling the possession and more of the ball in this half. Had more chances, certainly been in Canada's half of the pitch a lot more, but it's just now, as they're pushing for the goal, they need to keep alive at the back to ensure that they don't get a breakaway and nick it.
Canada have just made another substitution. Tiffany Cameron, who had that good chance in the first half, making way, and Jodie Ann Robinson, 23-year-old forward, coming on. Good play again by Ellen White, just to hold the ball up and find Scott. It's Scott's ball in. Difficult for the goalkeeper. She wasn't able to claim confidently. Leon trying to get away, and a really sturdy challenge again from Jill Scott. Williams finds Scott. In comes the cross from Duggan, and straight into the hands, a little easier this time for McLeod.
Yeah, the last one she was under pressure, had to come further for it, but that's Tony Duggan's not really picked anyone out. She's just looked to get the ball into the box, but to real no effect.
England getting ready to bring Jess Clark on. They've given the ball away though. It's Kyle. Now Buchanan. First few touches for Jodie Ann Robinson, and she's earned a free kick. Well, Jess Clark came off the bench in the second half against Canada in the Cyprus Cup final and set up Yankees' winning goal. But this time, she's going to be replacing her. And a really warm ovation for Rachel Yankee after cap number 125. And just one more to become the most all-time capped player in any England shirt. That was a good ball in, just carried away from Kyle at the back post.
Yeah, it looks like Casey Stoney, she just got a bit of a nudge in that medley there of bodies. Quite a lot of bodies in the box, but thankfully it's gone over all of them and gone out. But yeah, I'm sure Rachel Yankee in the future will get a number of more caps under her belt. But now we see Jess Clark coming into the fold, and Tony Duggan switching onto this left side, and Jess Clark going out onto the right.
And she can make an impact, Jess Clark. 4 goals in 7 World Cup qualifiers in the last campaign. It was White trying to play the role of facilitator that time.
I think it was just missing his forward play when we've just not been able to combine in that final third or in and around the box with each other just quite enough. Apart from the Farrah Williams chance where she found herself in good space where we did get quality ball into players' feet. You know, it's just been a little bit too close to the keeper with the crosses, or a little bit just too high, so just need a bit more precision on the balls and the crosses into the box.
White coming really deep to get on the ball, finding Duggan. It's an England throw. Matheson. The whistle's gone. England free kick. Horton's throw. She'll take her time. It's Williams who comes to give her the option, but surrounded by 3 red shirts. Here's Nobbs. And now Alex Scott. Jess Clark outside of it. Nobbs trying to give it back to Jess Clark, perhaps just asking a bit too much of her, but she's got away. And almost again. She's proved a handful already, and here she is, Jess Clark, lifting the crowd and lifting England, and drilled in by Alex Scott. That was better from England.
Yeah, it's great pressurising and harassing from Jess Clark in the first instance, and then Jordan recognising that, getting over there and helping her out and putting the pressure on her. Actually, you know, Jess Clark keeps it in here. You think it's a lost cause, but she doesn't, so she keeps it well. And then Jordan Nobbs is over there and spots the danger as well, or trying to keep the pressure on, keep them pinned in that corner, which they do well. So tenacious young players coming on with a point to prove, adding that little bit of injection.
And here's another one of them going through, Duggan, but seen to by McLeod, who raced out of a goal really quickly. England trying to finish with a flourish. Sinclair, forward by Buchanan. Really good touch out of the sky for Matheson. And now here's Sinclair, the one big chance. That's what she's been waiting for all game long. But England had enough back to just about deal with the threat.
Yeah, it's great play by Matheson, took the ball out the air brilliantly and set her forward up, thinking that she would score. The ball looked certain to go on target, but Alex Scott got in the way, as she does so many times for England, denying her the opportunity to get the ball goalward.
It was almost that one moment of magic that the game's been waiting for. Diana Matheson, that touch.
Yeah, certainly. She's certainly their player that I think Canada look to make things happen. And she's got a good engine as well. She gets up and back and sets the play up for her team.
Here come Canada again. It's Matheson again. This time she wins a free kick, brought down by Horton. Matheson's free kick, and taken very confidently by Rachel Brown, the substitute England goalkeeper, and quick distribution as well. And England have Tony Duggan racing forward on the near side, and they need to pick her out, and Ellen White just taking a little bit too long to spot the run of Duggan.
Yeah, you could sense the crowd were almost shouting at her to try and alert her to that Duggan was all free on this left-hand side. But she couldn't quite, she was just looking to try and cut back to allow her to make that pass. But really, Jordan Nobbs, she wanted to get her head up and see that before passing the ball to Ellen White.
The game's starting to open up. in the final 90 seconds of the 90 minutes. Williams finding Duggan. England have a throw in. Now Jess Clark could be through again here. She's full of pace and bumped from behind by Matheson. It's a free kick against Jess Clark. Well, the final minute of the game, Faye, and I guess it's about that time where you have to name your player of the match.
Yeah, I think a few players have done quite well. I think Jill Scott's been quite robust and worked extremely hard in midfield to break up the play. But also I think my player of the match is going to go to Alex Scott. I'm picking out the two Scotts, but Alex Scott for her work rate up and down the flank on the right side. She made a few chances, but she's also denied towards the end in the right position at the right time to stop Sinclair scoring as well. So I think she's worked extremely hard. If her shooting boots are on a little bit, she might have worked the goalkeeper a bit harder. But I think she's worked hard, had a lot of space to exploit, and she's done that well.
Here's the other Scot, Jill, and now Jess Clark. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the game here. Clark driving, not able to win a corner, so throw in instead. Jess Clark has made a difference since coming on. Steph Horton's throw. A good turn here. Duggan was trying to get there. Kyle just forced it away. Jill Scott again. Now Jess Clark. Horton. Forward by Nobbs. And then by Williams. Crossing opportunity here for Scott. She's pulled it back for Williams, who can strike them. And there's the goal for England. It's come in stoppage time. Really good build-up play, and England have a dramatic goal that should prove the winner. It's another late goal, but this time it's gone against Canada.
Yeah, that's brilliant build-up play by England down on this left flank. It's the first real time that they've got the ball into feet, short, sharp passing, really slick, and get the ball into a vital area. And Ellen White, she'll do that all day. She'll run and get her head on any ball that you put in the box, and she's done well to convert it, and what a great goal.
Well, a 92nd minute winner for Canada in that bronze medal match here in August, a 94th minute equaliser in their friendly on Thursday, but it's gone against them this time. And we're moving into the 93rd minute, and England are thirsty for more. Horton, she's driven it. And England have a corner.
Yeah, I think hopefully if they can hold it out, I think the win for England is deserved. They've certainly controlled the second half, looked to push higher, try and make things happen, with just that last little bit of quality letting them down at times. But one time it's come off, it's like we were saying earlier, you need to be able to convert those chances, and she's had that chance and she's put it away.
Ellen White showing real predatory instincts to get on the end of that, just anticipating that it was there to be won when Williams drove it in.
We do really well in the build-up play. I think Farah there was on the edge looking for that far corner, but like I say, Ellen will just throw herself at chances like that. If she thinks she can get anywhere near it, she will just do anything to try and get on the end of it, and she did do. But it was great work, build-up play by England. Just keeping patient, keeping the ball, keeping it moving, and it's worked out because they created a chance.
And Jess Clark involved again after coming off the bench to set up the winning goal for England in the Cyprus Cup final. She's had a big role to play off the bench here again today. Scott finding the goal scorer. Given away this time by Ellen White. Sinclair gets it back here. We're into the final 30 seconds or so. One last chance perhaps for Canada to drive forward. And Scott doing really well.
Yeah, again, Scott just does well to shepherd it out, but that's the one that Alex does. With her experience now, she's on 95 caps for her country, 96 today. But she works tremendously hard for the team, getting forwards, getting those chances for her forwards, but also she does, there's not many players that get past her in that right back position. She's quite strong, she's quick, so...
And England beat Canada again. It's 1-0 again. They left it even later this time. A stoppage time goal for Ellen White, her 13th international goal. A bullet header throwing herself in the way of Farrah Williams' attempted shot. And England make it 10 games unbeaten, 8 wins in those 10 games, and take another huge step forward with the Euros coming up this summer.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It'll really give them confidence going into the next game now in June against Japan. And also set the girls up because the WSL starts on Sunday for a lot of teams, so get an international game under their belt is important for them as well. But here you just see the goal again. Jill's got forward, just looks up, doesn't look to just hopelessly put the ball in the box. She picks Farrah Williams out, who takes the shot, and Ellen's got across a marker and directed the goal goalward, and the keeper from that distance has no chance.
They had a lot more of that type of threat in the second half, where they got the ball into more central positions with players sort of arriving late onto the edge of the box. Yeah,
I think the second half they really took the impetus to Canada and tried to make something happen. And with the changes that Hope's made with Jordan Nobbs, Tony Duggan coming on, and Jess Clark, they've just added that extra bit of injection into the game. And with that, their selfless running and their pressurising, we saw Jess Clark in the corner with Jordan pushing, really squeezing Canada in, stopping them from playing out. In the first half, they were playing out a little bit too easy. So just that pressurising is good, and it's made chances for the team.
And England stopped Christine Sinclair from being a real threat for the second game in a row. She had half a chance towards the end of the game.
Yeah, she had one chance and it was going goalward, and Alex Scott was in the right place at the right time and didn't know much about it, but she was there to block it. So that's important that she's doing her defensive duties too. So didn't really have to test either Karen Bardsley or Rachel Brown in goal. So it's a really positive thing defensively as a team as well, because like I say, when you're probing, when you're pushing to try and get the goal, you need to stay switched on at the back and make sure that players of her quality don't get a chance, because she would put it away. So you can see the Canadian players on the pitch, we can see they're looking quite dejected and annoyed to have conceded so late on, but it's really encouraging for England in their build up into the Euros.
And the full-time score here, England 1, Canada 0. Farrah Williams labelled there as the goal scorer, but I think there's no doubt about it. It was the head of Ellen White that found the back of the net. A good play by Farrah Williams all the same.
Yeah, again, to get the shot off, to put the ball in the danger area, and to make something happen, which it did. So sometimes you just hope that you make the keeper work and you can get a rebound, but thankfully Ellen White saw the danger and popped her head in the way and got the goal for England.
And this mini-series, I suppose, swings the way of England after that defeat in the Olympics. As Team GB, they've won twice in a row since then against Canada, and a little bit of retribution now.
Yeah, I think that lots of the players that were involved in the Team GB felt that they didn't do themselves justice in that game, and that's the important thing now. It's turning in victories in games like this, which are friendlies, which don't have a lot riding on it, into doing it when it counts in the big tournaments. And Canada certainly did that in the Olympics, and now England, we need to learn to do that, because we certainly have the ability and talent. But we've obviously seen a few highlights here of just England pressurising the Canadians.
Well, the England threat grew and grew the longer the game went on.
Yeah, it did, because I think they sensed, we're strong enough, we're good enough to be able to break this strong, organised Canadian team down. They just had to keep moving, keep pressurising, and it's often when you do keep the pressure on that teams will make a slip up and make a mistake. But Ellen White's had a few chances, or half chances, but not really got a shot off, but she's kept persevering. This is Farah's brilliant chance. Would have expected on any other day for Farah to put that away, but McLeod does brilliantly in goal. And
you
again,
talked about the strength and depth of this England squad and the young players coming through, and we've seen today Tony Duggan, Jess Clark, and we've seen young players coming on, and Nobbs as well, making a real difference.
Yeah, they do, and like I say, they're not phased, and when they're on the pitch, they're just as strong as the players that have gone off now. So I think that's the important thing. 5 years ago or so, when we were trying to build on the success of and get England in the top 10 in the world, it's the first 11 that we kind of knew would pick itself, and the other team players on the bench didn't have a lot of experience, but like I say, the more senior players on the bench have a lot of caps under their belt, and the youngsters coming through have all the experience at under 19 levels, so and under 23 levels, so they come on really not overawed and with the ability and quality to really add something to this team.
And here's Matheson finding Sinclair. This was their big chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think that was going towards the Rachel Brown's left corner of the goal. She was picking it out, but it's hit Alex Scott, and Rachel then hasn't even had to dive. But here you can see actually there that the Farah's shot was just going off target, so Ellen's done well in just diverting it. It's hard sometimes when it's coming at you quite quick like that, it will just hit you and go anywhere, but she does well just to control it and get over it to ensure that it goes on target, and like I say, the keeper has no chance when it's that close.
One big chance for each team at the end of the game. Canada not taking theirs, England taking theirs dramatically in the 91st minute. Ellen White's 13th international goal, giving England a big win against Canada, and these two teams ranked 7th in the world jointly. Perhaps that will lift England even further, and they are riding a wave of momentum as we head into the 2013 Euros in Sweden in the summer. The final score here, England 1, Canada 0.
Yeah.